Hello, one and all. How you doing? It's me, Generic Pie, back with another game for you today. This is the second in my matchup against Michel in the third round of the 2024 WOTR World Tournament. You can watch the first game on this channel. Spoiler alert: I lost, and this is I lost as the Shadow, and now I'm playing as a Free People. So Michel is one of the highest rated Shadow players on the server. So going to be a tough one. We didn't have any tokens either, so yeah, going to have to take some big swings. The way I look at it is, if you're playing against the very big, the very big, the very best shadow players, if you just play your normal game, you can win. You know, if the Java gods are on your side, you know. Some games, you know, they just don't hit the fellowship, and you just waltz to a victory. That's it's just the way of the game. But if it's kind of a 50-50 game, they're probably going to beat you by being more efficient. So in this game, I took some big swings, and I'll be curious to see your thoughts on said swings. Um, so as I said before, I was playing as a Free People, and Mikkel was playing as the Shadow. So he started out with at least one, very, very good starting card. Grond is a very good card, but not a great starting card, where Shadows, the Misty Mountains, is one of the best. I started out with Through the Day and the Night, and I was kind of thinking, is that a sign? Is that a sign for me to do Free People military shenanigans? But either way, the confusion's handy. Let's file. And then we rolled this, yeah. So I've already jumped ahead with the roll. So Mikkel didn't put any eyes in the box, and I rolled 2 movement. So very happy to see that, especially because Mikkel didn't roll like a metric ton of attacks and musters, because that can actually be very bad for the Free People. Even if you do get a few free movement, if the Shadow military gets rolling, and they can march into all of your strongholds in like 2 turns, then it doesn't really matter how fast the Fellowship goes, because you're going to get destroyed anyway. But 3 Palantirs gives me some hope, so I move for free. Mikkel draws into Corsairs. Um, yeah, that's a great draw. I pass. Mikkel draws into Hill Trolls. So yeah, great cards, man. These are some excellent cards. So you've got and also there's nice variety here. You've got a mustering card, a forward mustering card, and the best shadow card in the game. Certainly the best strategy shadow card in the game. I pass again, unknowing the danger. Insert Ralph Wiggum meme. I'm in danger. And Isengard goes to war. Pass. Shadow moves to Gorgoroth. I get another free movement. Saruman comes into play. I now I kind of think about what's the best action here. I don't know where he's going to attack. I don't know if I'm going to roll another hybrid. So I just go for a stock kind of 2 army moves, get the guys to Old Forest Road and these guys to Western Met. Where does he go there? Okay, that was the Gorgoroth army to Morannon. And then I decide to use the ring. Thankfully, I know I'm not giving him a minion here. So there's kind of a, not giving Mikkel like a huge advantage by giving him a ring. But I decide it's worth it to get that free move into to Moria. And as I said, I got to take some swings in this game. I don't think this is really much of a swing, but I went for it. And then Shadows, the Missing Mountains is played. So yeah, great draw. Well, don't know what I did in there. And we go on to turn number 2. Mikkel draws into Orcs Multiplying again, so another great card before you move the armies as well. And this is why I think often, it's better to move. If you're going to do some stock army moves at the beginning, move this army, because you don't get any mustering cards down here, whereas there's great mustering cards for here. And on they went. And what did I draw? I draw Guahir and Fear Fire Foes. So this does make me think, that combination, this actually came up, this exact combination is what I think Iturralde started with, or certainly had early in one of our tournament games. And it does give you the option of getting a Hobbit to here and then playing Fear Fire Foes. I guess, to be honest, with 3 steps, I wouldn't need to play Guahir. But yeah, it certainly gives me that option. If I say, for example, I have a Palantir, and I want to use a card to separate from the Fellowship. So I could get the North to war. Mikkel gets a fairly balanced roll. couple of musters, which are nice at this stage in the game. It means you can get the certainly it means you can get the Witch King in all likelihood. And this is actually, I was thinking about it. This is actually one potential downside of the Old Forest Road move. It can actually give the Shadow, if the dice are such, it can give the Shadow an earlier Witch King. I get a not as much movement as I would have liked, but I got a good amount of movement last turn. But yeah, I can do some stuff this turn, but not a great roll. Michel gets Sauron to war. I pass, and then he plays Orcs Multiplying again. And now I'm like, oh god, uh-oh. So yeah, 2 amazing early mustering cards. So not feeling great about the Jew line, especially. This army now I think is strong enough to. I mean, it's people send up the 5-1 a lot anyway, but now it's a real meaty army to go up here. I moved the Fellowship. I think this was mostly because I wanted to just to know where I'm at. You know, sometimes when you want to sometimes you want to save the Fellowship movement till the end, but sometimes you're like, do I need to use these dice to hide with? You know, where does this movement put me, and where does that put the rest of my dice? You know, what do I need to do with the rest of my dice? So I don't get hit, so that's good. Although I am now thinking, crap, with this military, I'm gonna need to get to 5 dice like soon. Because otherwise, I'm gonna get and as I said before, like, Michel's a great shadow player, so like he's gonna be really efficient. So I think more so than in other games, perhaps I'm like I really need to get down to 5 dice, ASAP. No messing around here. So yeah, as I discussed here, so had I not put the Old Forest Road guy here, Michel would have been able to get this army here. Attack into Karen, and then he would have been 1 die short of actually getting the Witch King this round. However, is there any way that he could have not? I guess he had to play the Palantir to get Orcs Multiplying again. So yeah, so it is actually like, especially because I didn't have a scouts. Maybe that's not such a great play. You know, actually in this game it hurt me, I would say. And yeah, so this is one of the swings I took. I'm like, I need that wizard to die, man. You know, I'm gonna go real aggressive with the rings in this game because I really need to kill Gandalf and get him back in play ASA mother flipping P. So I do that and I'm hit, and it's a 1 tile. So Gandhi dies to a 1. You know, I'm not complaining. The wizard has to die. I'm very happy that it's not a reveal tile. It means I can't be hit by any nasty cards. And yeah, so the wizard dies to a 1. Fine by me. Michel attacks Old Forest Road. I do have this confusion up my sleeve. I play it. And he rolls a ton of 1s. Wowzers. So he gets the hit, but rolls 3 1s. And I get a hit back. So I get 4 hits against this army. So this army is basically back to 3 Orcs Multiplying again. So that is very fortunate. Very, very fortunate. I use my hybrid to do 2 more stock army moves just to get these guys in place. Yep. I don't really want to. The way I see it is this army is not big enough to put this under siege yet, so I don't want to needlessly. You know, if I move the elves down, am I helping myself at this point? So I think doing the hybrid moves is actually more beneficial here at this stage, especially because, you know, hybrids are more rare. Anyway, he attacks Dale, kills the dude. I get 1 back. So this army is pretty small. Again, you know, I could put that under siege, but probably not going to be able to take Woodland Realm, or not easy. Yeah, I think it'd be very costly to try and attack Woodland Realm with this army, given how you wouldn't have any presses. But I can get the Witch King, which is great. And now I decide to move the elves down because I'm thinking, okay, well, now this army is so small, if he does feel pressure to put this under siege, then I can then, you know, start mustering Lorien or Rivendell, depending on which way this army decides to go. Because this army's going somewhere. I just don't know where it's going to go yet. And he gets the Witch King. So, yeah, so this is a tricky one, because like, where do you put the Witch King now? You know, Can't really put it here because this army's probably not going to go actually do any attacks anytime soon. Can't really put it here because again, this army also isn't really big enough to you'll kind of be probably wasting your dice if you go for Lorien too early with this army. So it logically makes sense to go for this army, even though you don't. Where's this army going to go? But yeah, and that's what Michel decides and sends it to Daggerlad, which I think is the right decision. I draw into Wisdom of Elrond, another confusion, and Horn of Gondor, and Michel draws into the Black Captive Commands. Ah, man, these cards are so good. Such good cards. And the King is revealed. Well, this one not so great, but 4 excellent cards, and I mean, and a red tile's always handy. And gets a very low eye turn, but lots of attacks, couple of Palantirs. But when you've got bloody Corsairs and Black Captains, you ain't too bothered about those Palantirs, are you? I get, oh yeah, I've already shown my cards, and I get this roll. So I'm like, okay, well, killed the wizard. That's good. That's paid off. But 3 musters, and in quite an awkward situation to muster because, I mean, I suppose I could have just mustered the hell out of the north. That's one option. But I'm kind of thinking, well, this army could go for Gondor. Do I need to worry about Gondor? Do I need to get the elves closer to war so that when Michel attacks into Woodland Realm or Lorien, do I need to get, I can get at least one muster into the other? Do I consider Rohan? Like, so there's a lot of options this turn. Do I, or maybe I want to play another ring, hint, hint. Because there's only one eye, If Shadow's playing with, this point, they're rolling 9 dice and only one eye's going in the pool. They're getting a lot of stuff done on the board. And I'm not, relatively. So I need to kind of at least get the Fellowship going as well. And not moving against one eye is so bad for the Fellowship normally. So the South Rons go down. I pass. This army goes up. I'm kind of sort of slightly surprised at this army because it feels like I'm not sure where I was expected to go. Maybe the fact that Michel drew Corsairs made him not want to go to Minas Tirith, because then when he attacks into here, it's going to be kind of awkward juggling between the various, because I would probably start mustering if I saw this army coming this way, and then there's a chance that, I can get Minas Tirith quite heavily mustered by the time you get it under siege. And now this army's teeny tiny. But yeah, I'm kind of like, okay, committing 2 big stacks to the Jew line. I'm not too unhappy about that. It means the Witch King's kind of committed for a while, or he can actually get up to Woodland Realm. Key keeps marching. I pass. I get Gandalf. Yeah, didn't really consider putting him anywhere else. Southrons go to war. I said I have a very bad feeling if you have an early Corsairs. Like, just about the outcome of the game. I'm like, the way things are going, this roll plus an early Corsairs against a really good Shadow, like, just not feeling good about it. So I have to start using dice kind of around this time. These guys are getting closer. If I wait too much longer, if this army keeps marching up, then I'm not going to be able to get any musters into the Woodland Realm. So I decided to just do one, almost like a semi, not really, I was going to say like a semi-bluff, but you're kind of like feeling out. I mean, I'm probably going to want to do that at some point in the game, get the elves down 1 to be in that position. Don't really know where else I want to muster, so I do go for that. Then, yeah, so Michel does have Corsairs, so I'm like, oh, Jesus, not happy with that, but it is what it is. Then plays Hill Trolls, gets this army buffed up as well. So this measly army is now strong again. And the Jew line's not looking good. Not looking good. So I'm kind of like, is it even worth trying to muster Woodland Realm at this point? Woodland Realm looks like a goner. It's going to get mashed up regardless. So I'm not in a desperate rush to use up my musters on the elves now. Yeah. So instead, I think I've ever done this before. I'm not sure if I've ever done this. I use the 3rd ring. I've used all my rings in the first 3 turns. Go big or go home, people. I'm going for glory. The hobbits are sprinting their merry little legs, and I don't get hit. So 6 movements on 3 turns. It's not going to be a turn. Very unlikely to be a turn 4 Mordor, but it could be a turn 5 Mordor, and that gives you a chance against a very fast Shadow. Plays black captains. No messing around in Dolamroth, which I think is good. It means that Michel can start cycling cards. Yeah, I think that's correct. It's a good play. Plays the only strategy card they have, Relentless Assault. My cards. Do I go for another? Do I go for the Shield Wall or the Confusion? I can't remember. I think I started with the Shield Wall, and Michel decides not to inflict any hits. Would have got. Well, that would have been. Oh, if he conflicted 2, that would have been 3 hits. As it is, or it would have been 5. Well, an awful lot, yeah. So as it was, it's 2 minus 5, minus 1, sorry. So I need 2 hits in total. That's quite good. I get 1 back. Press. You could see Shield will actually do something for once. He draws into Olokai. He no cards, which, yeah, that makes sense. Now I play my Confusion. Confusion does get another hit. So Confusion's doing pretty well today. Good day for Confusion. And Michel doesn't get any hits. I don't get any hits either. So, but it does look like maybe these guys are going to hold, and Michel's going to have to waste another die on Dolamroth, which would be very good for me. Michel no cards it. If only I'd played the Confusion this round, I might have actually been able to actually hold Dolamroth against all odds. But I'm not rolling very well either. So no hits. I think that's the second round of no hits at all for anyone. Lots of ones. Yeah, so let's have a quick look at the dice. So these actually we switch around. So Michel is +6 on ones, -2 on actual hits. But yeah, +6. So the ones are already coming in droves today. -3 on eyes, whereas I'm +3 on musters. I say time the Confusion wrong this time. Yes, I mean, why would you wait to play the Confusion? But just one of those things. I can't complain. I've had very good luck with Confusion this game so far. So I play the muster, and I figure, in case, looking back actually, now that this army's gone up here, probably better to play a 1 and another 1 in Pelargir, rather than trying to get the extra. Oh, actually, you know what I probably should have done? Given there's this 5 here, I probably should put 1 in Carrick. 1 in Carrick and 1 in Lamadon. Or 1 in Lamadon and 1 in Pelargir. I don't think I mean, because this army, if it comes out, it's a bit risky just leaving Dolamroth completely empty when Strider's still in the Fellowship. Could leave you open to a dead man of Don Harrow. And this is quite a disparate band of douchebags. So like it's going to take ages to mobilize these armies. So I think I should have used that other half muster somewhere else. I think that's a slight misplay on my part. And then no messing around anymore. These guys need to die. Also, understandably at this point, Michel is worried about. I imagine is worried about either me top decking either Kieran ships or Imrahil of Dolamroth. So playing Grond, I imagine he really wanted to save Grond for a different stronghold, but needs must get it done. Yeah, I think that's the correct play. No cards it, gets the 3 6s on the reroll. So yeah, and I get 1 back. So that wasted more time than it had any right to. I got very good luck in the combat. But nonetheless, it's still just a couple, I've lost Dolamroth early game. Corsairs has done its job, and not looking great overall for the 3 people, I would say. Michel draws into Shadows Gather and Balrog. So again, 2 good cards given. They're probably going to go for Lorien, and Shadows Gather is always handy. And I get a Blue Tunnel Path of Roses. So yeah, not going to lie, haven't really had the cards that you kind of want. When you're trying to going for a military sprint, what really balances that out, like in that situation, blue tiles are less useful because the shadow is also going hard on military, so they're not committing red tiles. So blue tiles are better when there are red tiles in, because it kind of you're almost like balancing things out with there's a small pool. In a pure sprint with a big pool, these have less value, and you also have less time to play them. So what you're really looking for is those defensive mustering cards, Thranduils, Celeborns, Kirdans, anything that, Imrahil, anything like that would be, way more valuable. So yeah, Path of the Woes is less so. Another extremely heavy attack and muster-filled roll. And I only get one movement, so now I'm like, oh man, this is going to be one of those games. What am I going to do here? I do start eyeing up, I'm starting to think, how the hell am I going to survive this? I'm thinking a few things. I need to get some companions onto the board. I need to thin out the fellowship, so I can make it lighter and more lithe and quick when it does get to Mordor. Hopefully, if it does get to Mordor. And I also need to do some mustering in the appropriate places. So yeah. So I start eyeing up some places I can put it. I do start considering putting using my Gwahir to get some Captains of the West up to Erebor and trying to make Erebor a real tricky spot. It's the only real. It's obviously a target for the Shadow. They've invested a lot going up there. Yeah, I'm thinking about that, especially because I've got so much movement here. And then I'm also thinking I need to balance this right, because if I move with the will and then I get revealed, I'm obviously going to reveal down here. Then the Gwahir doesn't reach anymore because I need to be able within 4 spaces of Erebor. So that's what's going through my mind at this stage. I say oof, as you do. Michel gets an elite into Moria, which now I'm like, oh god. Oh, which one's he gotta go for? Rivendell or Lorien? One of them screwed. I play. And as a result of that, I get the elves to war, because now I'm thinking 2-3-1 could feasibly get this under siege, and then if he has, Half Orcs and Goblin Men, Olokai, which he is holding, a 2-4-1 with Balrog can, beat a 1-2-1. It's a 5 HP against what say if he has Olokai like a 10 HP. With good cards, I'm only rolling 3 dice. There's a fair chance that Lorien falls to that. It's a little bit risky for Shadow, but I don't want to. I just need to I'm kind of like, I want to make sure I can at least guarantee a muster into Lorien if that comes to that. He puts, as a result of that, he puts Wooden Realm into siege, which is also had to be done. So he was obviously waiting for me to put the elves to war myself, which is also a clever play. Now I'm like, I don't know which way he's going to go. I want to make it awkward, so I decide to muster 2 regular elves in each of Rivendell and Lorien, just to cover both bases. If in future turns I don't roll musters, and I don't want to leave one of these extremely weak, because I'm kind of, I don't know which way he's going to swing. So it's a tricky one. The downside of that is it means that you don't have any elven regulars in the force pool. But the way I see it is like, this is going to die. This is definitely going to die. So, even if I can't downgrade this elite, yeah, so be it. Wooden Realm is hardly going to hold off a big Shadow army in the long run anyway. And then Michel starts mustering here, which makes me think, oh god, he's going for Rivendell. Don't like that. I feel like Rivendell's the harder to defend of the various targets. Michel moves these 2 armies here. Moves to Eagle's Eyrie from Mount Gundabad and up to Northern Ravanian. And I do seriously consider mustering in Carrick here. Because I'm thinking, there's 2. I'm just like, is this army coming to unite? Is it coming just to stop me getting Carrick? I'm like, if it's coming to unite, I thought maybe Michel wanted me to waste a muster here so that he then had an easy run at Rivendell, right? But imagine it, right? I muster in Carrick. I can't muster any more regulars in here. That then gives Michel 1, 2, 3, 4. He can then muster what? 2 more. No, 1 more elite, and then it would be a 3-5-2 army against Rivendell. And Rivendell's not going to hold up to that. unless I get Kindred and Lucky. So I think, maybe this is a clever ploy from him to try and lure me into mustering in Carrick. So I don't. I pass, thinking I'm clever, and then he plays Shadow of the Gala. So I'm like, shit, that sucks. Because now I'm like, I should have mustered. But maybe if I had mustered, Michel would have done this anyway, and I would have been maybe you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. Right? That's I'd be curious to hear if Michel would have done what I'm describing had I mustered in there. And I need to commit this will to moving the Fellowship. There's no way I'm going to muster in here, because otherwise then you just lose by military. Like, you have to move the Fellowship. So now I go for my Guahir move. I mean, maybe this is just like pissing in the wind because there's 2 giant armies here. But I'm like, where else are they going to go? I need to thin out the Fellowship. And Erebor can be tough. Maybe I top deck Dane's Ironfoot's Guard, and it means I've got more defensive rolls. At least it might slow down the Shadow. But yeah, I don't feel like I've got many other options. I've got a pretty full hand right now. I guess I could play Horn of Gondor, but I'm not worried about corruption damage right now. Not the pool is humongous because I've only drawn 1 tile. So yeah, I'm like, let's take some big swings. Let's do this. Leadership moves to Woodland Realm, and also to Northern Ravanian. Fellowship moves. It's missed. Woodland Realm is attacked. I don't really have any cards to play in this combat, so I no card it. We get a no come to kill, so card cycling here. Looking for that Deadly Strife, presumably. Terrible dice from Michel. I get 2 hits back, so that went, again, better than I ever expected. Does get 1 hit on the post, though, and I have to do what I described before. I have to kill the single guy, but I'm not really too bothered because I'm not expecting anything to happen here. It was into New Power Rising. New Power Rising, so again, amazing card to have in this situation. The cards have been shit hot for the Shadow this game, I must say. No cards. 2 hit gets a 2 hits, and I get 1 hit back. So doing a little bit of damage, chipping away. But now we've got these 2 big armies facing down the bros, Gimli and Legolas, best buddies, and they're holding up an Erebor. Not. I'd be kind of quivering in my boots, my little dwarven boots, if I was in their shoes right now. I've still got this hybrid. So I'm thinking, okay, well, it's looking very likely that he's going to go for Rivendell. He's only got limited, it's only got this 1 attack. So maybe, if I'm lucky, I can sneak this guy into here and make it an even harder decision about where to actually attack. Given I've got 4 Elven Elites left, maybe I should have just... Oh, and I move these guys in here. Yeah, looking back, actually, given I've got so many bloody Elven Elites, maybe I should have just been, like, madly mustering Elite, like, 3 more Elite musters, and then these are 2 fully stacked strongholds. Yeah, I could even get 2 Elites in here. Yeah, okay. So maybe that was a, slight misplay. I am kind of keen to get these guys into here, but I think I should have mustered in one of these 2 strongholds while I could. Combines and Dale, and we go on to turn number 5. There's another way in King Brandsman. A little bit too late for King Brandsman there, but there's another way is always very welcome. Foul Thing, card to threat the Fellowship, and a Desperate Battle. Always handy as well. I was happy to see this roll from Michel. Lots and lots of Palantirs. So I feel like, okay, that might buy me a bit of time militarily because, they need attacks to, and they've got 3 rings, but they can use 1 ring a turn. So I'm also thinking I can get into Mordor this turn. Yeah. So I move the Fellowship. They are missed. So once again, there's only 1 eye. Starts mustering in North Dunland. I move the Fellowship again, because again, I'm like, do I need to use these dice to hide and move again? I need to know where I stand with these dice. I missed again. Then Michel plays New Powers Rising, and I'm like, oh, yes, I do a sad face. And so at this point, I think he's going to go for Rivendell. I'm really wishing I'd actually just used that muster dice last turn to muster. I don't know if in my head I was thinking I was low on Elven muster or something, which I'm clearly not. So I don't really know why I didn't just muster the elves more. I think that was a misplay. Because if I'd had this at 1-3-1, then it would have been quite a clear decision. Well, I still would have been unsure about which one to muster again, but I'd be in a stronger position than I am now. Because now it's a bit of a game of chicken to see which way Michel sends the armies before I muster. He combines, wisely takes Iron Hills and prevent me causing some mischief up here, and combines in Moria. So with the dice Michel's got, can still swing around this way and go for Rivendell, but does look more like he's going for Lorien. I'm not sure though. I'm not sure, so it still puts me in a bit of a bind. I'm also thinking I need to be fast as hell in... I need to do two things. I need to be fast in Mordor, and I need to improve my chances of surviving militarily. I have There Is Another Way, and I have this character die. Are you thinking what I'm thinking? I got some big ideas. Erebor's put under siege. I say tricky. I pass. Erebor is attacked. I've got a shield ball. I've got a sudden strike. I've got a mighty attack. I've got a heroic death, but I don't want to use that. I go for, let's see what Michel's got. A desperate battle. They are terrible. So we get, they're terrible against sudden strike. I get one hit with the pre-roll. Michel gets 3 in total. Not a great start. I almost forgot my combat roll because of the pre-roll. Confused me because I'm a foolish man. And then I got 3 hits back. So they're doing okay. Michel presses. So it's 6 against 7 against 3 now. But I do have obviously lots of rerolls. He doesn't really have a card. Doesn't play a card. So I think we discussed this after the game, and he mentioned he could have played the Desperate Battle. But if you play Desperate Battle here, I'm still rolling on 5s. So yeah, it'll be 5-3. And if I say I have, for example, heroic death, you have you whiff, and I'm rolling on 4s. It could you kind of you're risking a potential like catastrophic wipeout if that goes badly. So he decides not to take the risk. I play shield wall. Michel gets 2 hits, blocked down to 1, and I get 2 hits back. So he does 1 hit to me. I do 2 to him. He has a think. Decides to change the casualties as a 3 and a 1. What am I doing? Why am I not just mustering? It's funny how like these moves, maybe just in your head in the game, like, oh, this seems so obvious. I can use this to get more musters. Dude, you've had 2 musters and you've used it to move 1 Elven Elite when you could have literally had 2. No, sorry, Northern Elite. When you could have had 2 Elven Elites. You got all the Elven Elites in the world. Why are you moving this? I think I've had so many games where this guy gets moved across because the Elven Force pool is small. It must have like been in my head or something. But yeah, that was dumb. I should have just been like alternating musterages. I think at this point I was worried that, yeah, but even if you muster in here, he can't then, yeah, I don't know. That was weird. I don't know what I was doing there. And then he draws into Day Without Dawn using a Palantir. And I say, maybe this is the dumbest shit ever, but it'll be fun at least. He says, I'm curious. And I decide to separate the entire Fellowship, except for the actual hobbits, and send them all to Lorien. Because I'm like, I need to go big, or I'm going to go home. Michel says, sure, that changes things. he musters elites and ore thanks, and now thinking, okay, maybe my best bet at getting victory points, guaranteed victory points, is going to be Helm's Deep, which I totally agree with, especially with the new Powers Rising being played. And then I play There Is Another Way to move the Fellowship and get into Mordor. So my rationale here was, if I go into Mordor with a full contingent, obviously I'll have Aragorn, which is helpful for speed, but There Is Another Way isn't going to have any value. And the Hobbits and Boromir are just going to slow me down. I mean, I'm very unlikely to get to Gollum. And if I do get to Gollum, by that point I would have lost the game, because that would mean I've been hit by a bunch of eyes and stuff anyway. So this way I can combine getting dudes on the board, making winning the game for the Shadow very, very difficult, well, even more difficult, while also getting into Mordor and being able to move with Gollum's speed. There are a ton of great tiles left for me with Gollum in the Fellowship. Still on net 0 corruption. And the way I see it is kind of Strider is probably about as fast as Gollum in a pool like this. You know, there are 4 tiles that will slow down Gollum. And there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 tiles that will require me to use another die to you know, at least you have the option of using a non-character die with Strider. But there are only 4 tiles that would require me to use a character or will to move to hide Gollum. So I'm like, I think the trade-off is worth it. Let me know your thoughts on this one, because it's a big play. I'm giving up There Is Another Way, which I could have used in Mordor if I had then got down to Gollum. I think it's a good play. I stand by it. It felt kind of cool at the time. I think looking back, my big misplay so far has just been, I don't know, why was I not mustering these mofos? That was foolish. Anyway, Michel uses the ring to move dudes around, gets the Wood and Realm fellas up to Withered Heath, and the Moria army, they commit to Lorien, which I was slightly surprised at. I presume he's doing it because he's holding Durin's Bane. But I thought, you know, me bringing all these dudes in here might make it so this becomes an obvious target. Oh, man, if only I'd... So annoyed at myself. So, yes, I'm in Mordor with only 1 tile drawn, which is pretty wild. It's just an easy little 1. So it's certainly good that I killed Gandhi when I did. Otherwise, yeah, I'd be very much not in Mordor right now. Well, I know I might be, but I'd be on only 4 dice. So Michel gets this low attack turn, and I'm thinking, ooh, okay, I might have hope here. However, oh, and I get 3 movement. However, I've kind of made a rod for my own back here because of my... Oh, God, it's funny. Just when you think you're getting better at this game, you just do, like, inexplicably weird stuff like that. I don't know what I was doing. Why didn't I muster? I think I was more thinking that he might not go for Erebor straight away, and he might commit to one of these. But even so, do the mustering in Rivendell and Lorien. So because I haven't mustered in Lorien, inexplicably, yeah, I think it's because once if I'd mustered, I felt like if I mustered in Lorien, it would mean that he'd 100% commit to Rivendell. Hence, but doing this is the same. Anyway, I just keep talking myself down a rabbit hole here. But now I'm in a bind because I've rolled 2 wills, and I need to muster in here. But if he's got Day Without Dawn, which he does have, then I'm screwed, because, you know, winning with the Fellowship is my only chance of actually winning. So I'm like, you know, he can't win the game this turn anyway. So what I have to prioritize moving the Fellowship. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to prioritize moving the Fellowship, and I'm going to do that and let him put Lorien under siege. I moved and I hit an eye. That sucks. No, I make a comment to the previous game where Michel got 5 non-revealed tiles in Mordor. I don't have that luck, unfortunately. I get the first straight away hit an eye. Up to 3 corruption. Lorien's put under siege. I inexplicably don't. Now, yeah, then I hide. The mouth comes into play. I move again. It's a 2 tile. I eat it, obviously. I don't want to reveal. Michel combines armies and Erebor and the Gap of Rohan. I decide to move Rohan down at this point, which I think which makes sense. I think. Where else am I going to do stuff? Yeah. Michel flips the mouth in order to attack Erebor. I don't really have any cards again that I can use. I've got Kid and Ships, but it's way too late to be of any use. And these cards are only. I mean, I think no, actually, okay. So I could have used cards here because obviously I've got. But I'm thinking I need to save these cards for this fight. You know, the Brave Stand, and the Charge to a lesser extent. You know, but especially the Brave Stand. I'm earmarking that for Lorien. I could have played the Mighty Attack, I suppose, but I'm just kind of thinking these guys are screwed. There's only 2 HP there. They're going to die. He plays Day Without Dawn. Gets 1 hit only. I get no hits back. He draws into the Shadow Lengthens. He chooses a card again. I don't play a card. Desperate Battle. And finishes it off. So I get 3 hits back. So this did get this army down to pretty small. But without really good cards, yeah, I stand. I don't think it was wise. It wouldn't have been wise to play the Brave Stand there. I think it would have just been. It's when you the Shadow only needs to roll 2 6s against you on like at least 2 rounds of combat. I think don't waste strong combat cards when Brave Stand's going to be incredible in this fight potentially. I kind of try and waste a bit of time threatening a military victory, even though I can't get over the line. But at least I can waste a bit of time. Forces him to use a muster there, which could have been used in Orthanc, and then he uses the ring to move leadership to Lorien and to around the board. So get summoned Dol Amroth. Obviously, going to go for the idea for Michel is to take Lorien and then take Pelargir for the final victory point, or maybe something in Rohan. So now I'm thinking, okay, I'm in with a chance here. I just need to roll 3 movements or 4 movements. If I get 4 movement, I'm thinking I've got actually a really, really good chance of winning the game here. Really good chance of winning the game. Because with Golem, I can afford to hit an eye, and then the other tiles probably won't kill me. So I just need a decent roll. Up until this point, I'm -3 on movement for the Fellowship. So I just need the dice to come through for me now. And I've got a shot. So fingers crossed. He gets Isida's Bane. Okay, well that's the handy card to have in this situation if you are just trying to slow down or hurt. Corruption could become a big issue here. And I draw into Help and Look for Deadman and Harrow. So another great card for this combat. And I get 2 movement. No! And at that point, I'm like, okay, well, now these guys are going to fight for their lives. Or I'm going to, and again, a lot of attacks here, especially with the ring and the mouth. So, I literally say, no, damn it, probably GG. I start getting Rohan down because I'm worried about them now. So I can at least muster 1 into Helm's Deep if this fails and he decides he has to go for Helm's Deep. Or maybe even, to try and get Edoras. He goes for Lorien. Uses a card. Lots of options here. You can't play the Moomer Kill, but Small Bats, Cruel as Death, Devilry, all good options. Oh no, Durin's Bane as well, perfect. It naturally starts with the Durin's Bane. I go for my Brave Stand straight away. So in a weird way, I think in a normal fight, Michel probably would have played the Small Bats straight away, unless he's earmarked that for Fords of Eisen. And then that would block my best card. But as it is, I do get the full value out of Brave Stand. So he gets 1 hit. Gets no hits, and then I only get 1 hit back. So this is the point when you really, really need your guys to when the Shadow's missing because of Brave Stand. You need to roll some fives and sixes, and I'm not doing that at the crucial moment. I say, come on, guys, fight FFS. He presses. He changes cards. So he's playing a strategy card. Goes to Dever of Orthanc. I go for Sudden Strike. So he's just prioritizing. So again, he could have blocked my cards, but he's prioritizing just weakening me as much as possible, which I think makes sense. My pre gets 2, which is okay. He gets 3 in total. Sorry, 2 with the Dever of Orthanc, and then I get one measly hit. So I think that's 2 hits on. Yeah, 2 hits on. How many dice is that? 20 dice with the free people? Rolling on 5 rerolls? That's like. Should be rolling at least what? No, at least surely triple that, something like that. Yeah, so that this is when I really needed the guys to stand up. I mean, I screwed up by not mustering in him more, but I'm still rolling 5 dice and 5 rerolls because of the Captains of the West, and it's just not coming. The hits aren't coming. Presses, chooses the cards. I go for the Mighty Attack. He has a Crawler's Death. Michel gets 2 hits. Again, pretty trash. Relatively. I mean, 2 hits is okay, but like, you know, it's not exactly balancing out from the previous one. So I get 3 back. He presses, and now he's down to only 5 dudes. So if I'd rolled average, you know, I suppose he would have stopped. He would have been slower. He wouldn't have been so aggressive with the press. But that buys me time elsewhere. You know, that buys me time elsewhere if that's the situation. It puts pressure on. You know, I can bring this army down here to defend. If he has all these dice can be allocated to other attacks, it gives him a huge amount of options, which he wouldn't otherwise have. So, partly my fault. You know, I should have had one more muster in here, but those dice really hurt me. No cards. I play my no quarter. Michel gets a 6s. I mean, he hasn't had great dice either, to be fair. I get 2 hits back. So yeah, down to a 3 dudes. You know, not so. Yeah, that army did get decimated. I say just needed 1 big roll. He says poor combat rolls for you there. And I say yeah, and I say surely GG. 6 attacks for 1 point. I ready this army because this army needs to be in position to get into Peligir to have any chance of holding Peligir. He says musters more in Orthanc, which makes perfect sense. I decided to draw a card, basically hoping for an end card, because there's that one end card that like can do 2 extra hits. So I'm thinking if I had some absolutely freakish combat roll where I do 4 hits plus 2 extra hits, do 6 hits against him, maybe in some freakish way I can survive in Rohan. But the game's over basically. Keeps mustering in Orthanc. I move the army here and into Peligir, and he realizes that he can just march into Edoras at this point with the remaining dice, and I can't do anything about it. But to be honest, from the moment Lorien fell, there was no feasible way for me to actually stay in this game because this army was so big. If he'd come towards Weizen, I wouldn't be able to attack into a fortification. He would have moved to Westermet. I would have had no choice but to attack from Helm's Deep out into Westermet. And rolling on 5s, this army. I've got a charge. There's only 1 elite in there. Like, the game was done. The game was done. And, you know, if I'd moved this army somewhere else, he would have just gone into Helm's Deep. So, yeah, the game was completely over. So, out of the tournament, and frustrated at myself, really. I think I played this game overall fairly well, given the cards I was dealt, literally and figuratively. I feel like I always manage to shoot myself in the foot in some meaningful way, usually by overthinking. Why didn't I just muster in Rivendell and Lorien? Why didn't I just muster in it rather than moving these guys? If I'd done that, 2 more HP in Lorien, that could hold by the Fellowship some time. I could still very well still lose by Michel slow playing it a bit more, drawing into more cards. Could have very, very easily lost regardless. But against top players, you can't give them an inch, man. You can't give them an inch. You know, in the last game, I screwed up here. Also, almost in the opposite situation, thanks to this guy's the Trollshaw's mofo. Hate you, northern bastard. He's done me in twice in two different ways. But yeah, you can't give the opposition an inch, and I think my overall strategy, I stand by the mad getting everyone out. You know, it did give me a natural shot at winning the game. Because I think the leadership in Lorien is, Lorien would have crumbled without that leadership, and the leadership, all it would have taken is one decent, role when I was playing Brave Stand, and I could have been in a much different situation than what I was. But anyway, I'll stop feeling sorry for myself. Michel played really well, and if turn 7 Shadow Victory that's incredibly efficient. So well played to him. And best of luck in the next round. I'll have a quick look at the dice. So by the end, I was -5 on hits. Yeah, it felt like it in that final fight. Yeah, I think prior to that, Michel had worse hits than me, and then Lorien just kind of went. So he's -2 really, because 5s. But having said that, he did play a few cards. So not good for them. Not good for the Shadow. But yeah, -5. And when the Shadow's 5, -5 on eyes, it's hard to defend. Hard to defend against that. But hopefully I'll improve and do better next year. But thanks for watching, everyone, and see you around. Ciao, ciao. Bye bye.